We're in Rocky Mount. There are two counties that Rocky Mount encompasses, Edgecombe and Nash. There are railroad tracks that kind of go straight down the middle of it. This is a predominantly African-American neighborhood. A lot of unemployment here, especially on this side of the tracks. And it becomes a magnet for illegal drug sales. What we see is that individuals that have a real problem with substance use disorder, they can't be responsible enough to get up and go to work on a regular basis, and so they lose their employment, and then they fall back on family to kind of support them, and then ultimately they end up ruining those relationships because of all the lying and manipulation, stealing that occurs. It's a perpetual cycle that makes it much more difficult.
And I would take that like crazy just to sleep.
I know, baby, but I'm just saying the reason why you have to stay clean because you have your dual diagnosis.
Right.
I met Vanessa a little over a year ago. She runs a home in Rocky Mount. She's providing a venue for people that are in between trying to get their lives back together, provides them a safe place, room and board.
Angie, dinner's ready.
Food. A sense of family.
Oh, it smells good.
Drugs were always in my environment. My brother passed away 15 years ago. One of the sweetest souls on the planet. At the age of 15, he was in the throes of addiction through his heroin. I was diagnosed with breast cancer, and I didn't have a feeling of the inner mental state of a mature woman because of my drug use. It pushed me into an emotional roller coaster that eventually caused a disaster in my life. So I didn't have the power to numb that voice out that kept saying, don't do this one, you're gonna die. You can live without breast. You need to stay around to help someone else.
You must have been, because I remember.
At the end of my road, there were still choices for me, and that was jails, institutions, or death. I didn't mind the latter. So I made a decision to listen to the voice on the inside and not die. And I went and got some help. Shirley?
Yep.
I don't have an institution. I have a home in a community that is available for any woman who is seeking to get on the other side of her horror. I don't want a woman to feel that there is no place for her to go.
So where do most of your referrals come from?
First, my alumni will tell me they have someone, and then hospitals and institutions, treatment centers, now correctional office facilities, so prisons as well.
So Holly, we have started to see a lot more opiate use in the African-American community. So what's your perception of that?
Well, I think that's because most black people don't go to the doctor and get opioids. They get them off the street.
Right.
You know, the people who go to the doctor and get them go out and sell them. They sell them to black people, and then the cycle continues.
Right. What do you suppose some of the challenges are for African Americans to seek out treatment or get into treatment?
Well, the first thing I think of would be just the shame of asking for help, and then knowing where to go to get it.
Are there financial constraints? I mean,
Sure, because a lot of places charge for help,
right.
You know, and many African Americans don't have health insurance,
right.
So they can't pay for a 30-day treatment center.
So, you know, we started the HOPE Initiative in February of 2016.
Yes.
And we've had a number of ladies that we've supported to come through the Lighthouse. Mm-hmm. But what I've seen is that it's been a very small percentage of the African-American community. What are some things that the HOPE initiative can do to reach out?
There are disparities between a black woman and a white woman. A white woman would go to a doctor's more often than a black woman. Where you would have to meet, the black woman would be outreach. The health department is where they go. That entity alone, social services, is the backbone of the community. You don't have that hope until a social worker says, we have a place, don't worry about the funding, you need to get help. All you need to do is keep staying clean and follow some rules.
And I would imagine that they build some initial trust with their caseworker there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so if the caseworker there is recommending, you know, to go to this particular program or through this program, it'd be a little easier than just me coming in there and saying, hey, this is what I got available. Trust me and come on down.
Right.
I got you.